Episode 4, the bullshit continues.
Or whatever will come back with the answer. Herman, I have to tell you, I don't know.
That's a humble heart, and that's the kind of heart we need to keep. I've had a number of different calls from people who are on these new version committees.
On today's show, we're going to translate the word Japid Okumal. Pardon my mouthiness, but what language is Japid Okumal? Is it Greek, Hebrew, Coptic, Syriac, Aramaic, Sabak, Mimic? Actually, it's not from any language at all. In fact, I made it up on the top of my head. Not more interesting than the topic we're studying, that's for sure. Oh, interesting.
By the way, just sidetrack. Pulled out my cold case book by Brian Bruce. As a fundamentalist, I hated this book. Now I'm reading it, and it makes sense. If you're in a cult, you can't read anti-cult material. Just thought I'd tell you that. This is my ode to Gail. Before we start part 2, episode 4. This is called Unfacts. Gail's Unfacts. Silly, stupid, bogus nonsense. Mashed up, mushed up with trash and illogical, incoherent, rambling, babbling, signal to noise, baboonery, gibberish, unresearched, dumb, ridiculous, insane, trash heap, nutty nut bar, twisted, warped, distorted, blended, shredded glob of gunk, cut into pieces and pasted back together with toothpaste and stuck randomly on wallpaper and regurgitated as nonsense unfacts. Warped, twisted, distorted, blended, silly, incoherent, garbage, nonsense, rubbish, anti-factual. And for those who want codes, the compressed version of all those words makes the word Japid Okumal. For some reason I've put very poorly pasted together, try harder Gail. And I've put no facts allowed. Where the hell's the camera at these days? I keep moving it. Here we go. No facts allowed. That's referring to Gail's material. I hated this book so much that I wouldn't even read it, let alone write something about it. So I'll change that. I'll do an episode on this book. It's a good idea. The complete and utter exhaustive analytical. Oh, that's the Book of Lost. I don't read that. That's traumatic till I find where the hell the book is. It's my most favourite book ever written. Carry on, Gail. We are missing out on your wondrous bullshit.
A gentleman from the New King James Committee called. He's buying the books by the cases, and he's taking them around to churches where he's been. A gentleman who raised $1 million.
Nobody knows whether that's factual or not.
He's very kind, and he said, we didn't know these things. We didn't know the history of the text. We didn't know about Westcott and Hort. And
what about, you never did tell us about...
How can they not know about the Westcott and Hort Greek New Testament? What the fuck? The average church doesn't teach that. Granted. Does she get a fact out?
About those two people.
Okay.
Would you claim that as a fact? I don't know.
The New Age movement itself traces back the history of the current channeling movement. Now, the channeling movement is where...
The New Age movement was never a thing. Books in the other room. The channeling movement was.
It's actually demon possession, where a demon comes into a person and speaks through that person, okay?
In the religion of Christianity, you believe in angels and demons. We got that?
And this is something that's anathema to Christians. And
Japid Aquamil, Japid Aquamil. Sobanama Wilkes, Sobanama Wilkes, Japid Aquamil, Japid Aquamil, SSBNMMU WTIRRBSNBG UDRITH. Twisted, warped, distorted, and blended, silly, incoherent garbage, nonsense, and rubbish. Anti-factual, no facts are allowed in this book. Nailed it.
So is it true that you can't film all your puppets through the green screen because they're mostly yellow and green? Oh. Hey, show us a magic trick. Picker. First you thought there was the Matrix, and then Bill and Ted. And now there's this. William Wynne Westcott is Brooke Foss Westcott. Two people living in different countries and different times are the same person. If you think you like magic, you'll love this trick. Ha 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 ha. Picker.
These people, when the New Agers themselves trace back the history of the current channeling movement in their own journals and their own material, they trace it back to Westcott and Horton. So when you...
No, they don't. They trace it back to William Westcott, who was... Well, just Google him. I'll show you. She's literally, purposely, William Westcott. William Wynne Westcott. There's the man himself. She's claiming that William Wynne Westcott is Brooke Foss Westcott. She's claiming that these two people are the same person. That this guy, who was a archbishop, what was he? He was a botanist. His father was a botanist, get it right. Well, who cares? We all know he's the Greek New Testament dude. Alright, that's all that's important. This Greek New Testament dude is this guy. Right? Right. He was a coroner. He was a ceremonial magician. He was a theosophist. And he was a Freemason. And he was born in Leamington, Warwickshire, England, because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, so I won't say Warwickshire. Warwickshire. He was born in Warwickshire, England. Okay, he lived from 1948 to 1925. How can he be someone who lived from 1825 to 1901? So Gail here is somehow teaching some bizarre, twisted reincarnation. So this guy was alive for 24 years after this dude died. So somehow he died and then reincarnated. And I'm getting confused. This guy reincarnated? Fuck, don't even think about it. So her whole everything, like half her book and most of her lectures, bullshit, most of her garbage, I'll call lectures garbage, are based on the fact, or her belief, that this dude here is this guy here. So we need to do a forensic analysis. See his eyes, is it the same eyes as this guy? No. Oh, sorry, Gail. I had to debunk one of your theories somewhere along the line.
Read books like The History of Psychical Research, for instance. They will have interleaving in those pages or in their index, it will say, psychic readings, channeling, ghost writing, inspirational writings.
Ghostwriting wasn't a thing in the 1800s. I got that right. Thank
All
you.
sorts of things. Then it says Westcott and Horton.
Check all
and
your
you go
facts.
back to it and you find out about these men.
Okay, this is bizarre. So did the person that she believes, what the hell? Did the person that she believes is Brooke Foss Westcott do any psychical readings? He wrote books. There's some books. Suicide. The Osaic Tablet of Cardinal Bembo. Sefer Yetzirah. Divine Pymander. Why do these ceremonial magicians come up with such weird names? Does he do cyclical... What did she say? Who cares? Who really cares? Is he a cyclical researcher? He died in Durban in 1925. He abandoned public involvement in the Golden Dawn due to pressure regarding his own job as the Crown Coroner. Wonder if Gail knows any of it.
They were fathers.
Yeah,
of the
sure.
channeling
Sure.
movement.
Sure she
they
does.
Had a club called the Ghostly Guild.
They had... 1996, they didn't have internet widely, I guess, so she could get away with their lies. Now all you have to do is click on a Wikipedia page and debunk them.
They engaged in spiritualism.
The guy that's let her on his TV show should have like a fact check list every time she opens her mouth, but it's all dishonesty.
Westcott's son said, my father was, for lack of a better word, a spiritualist. And that means he engaged in necromancy.
No, he believed in the Holy Spirit. He was semi-Pentecostal, not a spiritualist as in whatever spiritualists do. Everything I was taught as a kid about the occult was a lie, so I have nothing to say, because I don't believe anything I was taught to believe about Hindus, Mormons, Muslims, Islam, Hindus, etc. None of it was true.
Necromancy is an abomination in the Old Testament. These men took the Greek text in 1881 that had been used by the church for...
The Greek text was used by Erasmus from 1512 to 1881 when Westcott and Hort updated it. What are we trying to say, Gail?
almost 2,000 years. And they...
You're trying to say that Erasmus translated the Greek New Testament 2,000 years before he was born. You're saying... How old's the Vulgate? How old's the Vulgate? Let's do some fact checking on Gail Riplinger. Vulgate Wikipedia. 4th century, is it? So you're saying that Erasmus travelled back in time from 1512 to 382 AD, created a Greek New Testament which was used by the church for 2,000 years. 2,000 minus 382? Let's fact check Gail Riplinger. 2,000 minus 382. So for 1,618 years, the church used Erasmus's Greek New Testament for 2,000 years by a time traveller who travelled from 1512 back to 382 AD. God, the incredible amount of miracles and spiritual trickery that would have to happen to make that true is illogical, Spock.
been used by the church for almost 2,000 years.
1618 years, only if he travelled back in time and wrote it in 382 AD.
And they changed it. They took two.
Of course they changed it. Gail, sit down, Gail. The King James Bible translators didn't have access to the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Papyrus of Alexandria or the Codex Alexandrinus, Codex Vaticanus. Erasmus may have, better be careful there, Erasmus may have had access to it because it was in the Vatican, but no one outside of the Catholic Church was allowed to view it. So yeah, we've got to... I'd rather be factual than a liar like this wonderful professional Bible scholar.
Two manuscripts, okay? Vaticanus and Sinaiticus manuscripts.
Whoa, she's talking my language.
Two manuscripts by the church for almost 2,000 years, and they changed it. They took two manuscripts, okay? Vaticanus and Sinaiticus manuscripts.
Vaticanus and Sinaiticus manuscripts. Codex Vaticanus Wikipedia was discovered in maybe up the top. There's a really cool history about it. I'm trying to cut it down. The manuscript became known to Western scholars as a result of the correspondence between Erasmus and the prefects of the Vatican Library. So there you go, Codex Vaticanus. Erasmus had access to it in 1512. Therefore, from this manuscript, he developed the Greek New Testament. But Gail doesn't want Erasmus to have been involved in the Vaticanus. So her conspiracy theory is that Westcott and Hort travelled back to 1512 and took the Vaticanus off Erasmus. Yep. Okay. I love time travel. This could be made into a TV show.
And they changed that text that had been used by the church all that time.
All that time, from 0 to 1512 AD, they had access to Codex Vaticanus, but didn't use it as scripture because they were still using the Latin Vulgate, Jerome's Latin Vulgate. But all of a sudden...
And omitted all of these things that we're finding, like Jesus...
They took out 64,000 words that were never there in the first place.
Came to heal the brokenhearted. They omitted that, okay?
Westcott and Hort did that because they were spiritualist Satanists. God, this is just stupid. This is too low-hanging fruit for you to deal with.
Now, the reason they did that is because they would be very, very comfortable in a unity Christianity church. I don't know if
What the hell's a unity Christian? I don't care.
you're familiar with unity.
I don't really want to attack. I'm out of Christianity. I'm out of religion, so I don't want to attack any particular denomination. So I don't really care, Gail.
But when I read their writings, they would be very, very, very comfortable. They are very, very comfortable in a New Age church.
Do New Age churches exist? Is there such a thing as a New Age church, or is this just a Christian conspiracy theory that's about as truthful as a flat earther?
They're very much Platonic. If you look them up in the...
They loved the works of Plato. They loved the works of Plato. Westcott and Hort did a hell of a lot more with Plato than... It's one of my passions that I've only barely scraped the surface of. They were into Plato. They could... I mean, these guys were fluent in biblical Greek, Koine Greek. So... My God, they're my heroes. They really are.
Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics at the library, it will list them under Neoplatonism.
So in her 6 years bedridden, she made a trip to the library once, and she couldn't use her fingers to pick up a book. Every single thing about this person is like Andy Kaufman. Nobody will know the truth ever.
Platonism or Alexandrianism.
There's no religion of Platonism. Plato wrote some books. What was the other one?
Neoplatonism or Alexandrianism.
Oh, there is a Neo-Platonist group. So we're being factual here. Well, what?
Neoplatonism or Alexandrianism.
Alexandrianism, as though people in Alexandria, Egypt, had some sort of cult. Like it's a religion. Alexandrianism. Nobody on this planet's ever heard of that. I'm sorry. The only place that the Alexandrianism exists is in your mortal mind, Gail. Immortal. She must be a god.
And they said that they were modern expressions of the Platonic movement. And
What were? The New Testament was a modern something of the Platonic movement. What the hell?
they liked these manuscripts because
They would like them because they were being discovered in small doses up to 1952 when the big burst came. So Papyrus 1 to 42?
as they had been written way back in the 3rd century by men.
Yes, she got a fact right. I hate it when she gets a fact.
They had been written way back in the 3rd century by men who were Platonists at that time. Or
The author of Papyrus 66, Papyrus 46, all the papyrus in the Greek language were Platonists. Gail, can you please give me any evidence of any book or piece of paper on planet Earth that identifies an author of one of the papyrus and their name, their date of birth, their date of death, where they lived, and whether they were Platonists or not? Please fill in this form and return it to me when you've finished. Oh, God.
Origen was a Platonist, Marcone was a Platonist, and so
Marcion. Was he a Platonist? Let's do some fact-checking. Let's do fact-checking. Marcion of Sinope. Was he a Platonist? He considered himself a follower of Paul the Apostle. Okay, he was a heretic. So Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Tertullian denounced Marcion as a heretic. So, well, his writings aren't justified in the mainstream Christian doctrine, which is why Marcion itself is a program that uses or loads the Gnostic Gospels. So he would be the forefather of Gnosticism. Marcion is sometimes described as a Gnostic philosopher. In some essential sects, Marcion proposed ideas which aligned well with the Gnostic thought. Like the Gnostics, he believed that Jesus was essentially a divine spirit who appeared to human beings in a human form but did not actually take on a fleshly human body. So what's her crap that she's crapping on about? I'll close that. Yep, why not? Where the hell am I?
they had a little bit different view of Jesus to the Platonic movement, and they liked.
What Platonic movement? Platonic movement. Wikipedia. Plate tectonics. Okay, so plate tectonics is evil. because they plate tectonics translated verses or wrote Greek manuscripts. Plate tectonics, you are naughty. Fucking hell.
These manuscripts because they had been written way back in the 3rd century.
3rd century? 150 AD for P66, but yeah.
By men who were Platonists at that time.
Again,
Origen was a
no.
Platonist, Marcion was a Platonist.
He wasn't. He was a Gnostic, or the granddaddy of the Gnostic genre, movement, belief, tribe, fill in the blank.
And so they had a little bit different view of Jesus. He was God, yes, but then we could also be God. And so that's why you...
No, if you read the page, Gail... Oh, God. Did I really close that down? I'm getting tired. Marcia and Wikipedia. No, Gail, if you read Wikipedia, you'll find that he was sometimes described as a Gnostic philosopher.
See the dichotomy in the new versions. Yes, Jesus is God over here, but then maybe it's a little bit watered down over here because these Vaticanus and Sinaiticus manuscripts were created around the year 330 by Constantine.
Constantine wrote Vaticanus. Emperor Constantine wrote Greek. Okay, he lived... Okay, that's where you... It's kind of factual because the person did exist from 272 to 337. Did this Roman emperor write the... Fucking hell. Do you know what she just said? Do you know what she just said? Emperor Constantinos Augustus from 272 AD to 337 AD wrote Codex Vaticanus Alexandrinus, which were the Septuagint written 150 BC. So Constantine, another time traveller. Constantine travelled back from 337 AD back to 150 BC under Ptolemy. Oh, fucking hell. This is... Oh, God, I love this. This is how to create a fiction story. So the Septuagint from 200 BC to 50 CE under Ptolemy to Philadelphus. So Constantine travelled back in time from 300 AD to about 200 BC and wrote that, the Septuagint, which is Codex Vaticanus, right there on the Wikipedia page. So this, let me get this straight. This Roman emperor who spoke and read in the Latin language and would have had interpreters to fulfill his commands, to work out his commands and his laws and whatever, magically travelled back in time to 250 BC, 200 BC, and magically learnt to read Hebrew and translated the Old Testament Hebrew scriptures into Greek. This Emperor Constantine was the most amazing emperor of them all. This dude was a time traveller who could learn languages just by sticking on the glasses, or however Neo did it, like plug into the Matrix. This is proof that the Matrix is real, people. You think Gail's cuckoo? I could out cuckoo the cuckoo.
to do just that. Constantine had taken over the Roman government at that time.
No, he was elected, wasn't he? I wonder if she actually gets one fact anywhere. He was a Roman army officer. Centre East Ranks Tribune. Okay, he emerged victorious in the civil wars against Maxentius Licinius. As Emperor, Constantine enacted administrative, financial, social and military reforms to strengthen the empire, and by means of adopting the religion of Christianity, Constantine was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, although he lived much of his life as a pagan. So this pagan travelled back in time to 200 BC, translated the Hebrew Old Testament into Greek for the Jews. He's my hero. What the fuck, Gail? Oh my gosh!
And it was in turmoil. The Christians were being killed. Diocletian was burning all the Bibles. That's why we don't have any, first century or second century manuscripts, because Diocletian was burning the Christians along with their Bibles. And so Constantine was, like it says in Daniel, by peace he shall destroy many. And he said, let's have peace. God forbid that we should assail one another. And so he had Eusebius take the manuscripts of Origin
hell.
and write.
This is just getting so complicated. I'm doing some high IQ flat earth research now. Eusebius of Caesarea. Oh my god, this is all my brain power. Okay, he lived around the same time. So the fact that he lived around the same time, from 260 AD to 330, 340 AD, under Constantine's reign, somehow he produced a biographical work on Constantine the Great, the first Christian empire, who was Augustus 306 to 337. Although Eusebius' works are regarded as giving insight into the history of the early church, he was not without prejudice, especially in regard to the Jews. So he was an anti-Semite. What's she saying? This is getting confusing.
Take the manuscripts of Origin and write them out. And Eusebius take the manuscripts of Origin and write them out. And
his name's Origen. Fucking hell. He collected and compiled the works of Origen. It doesn't mean he believed everything that Origen said. I can't do this. He was influenced by Origen. Through the activities of the theologian Origen, 185 to 254, and the scholar's fellow Pamphilus, 3rd century, 309, Caesarea became the centre of Christian learning. Origen was largely responsible for the collection and use of information which churches were using, which gospels regarding the text, which became the New Testament. So that's it. That's the extent of it. Origen or Constantine or Eusebius of Caesarea or Marcion did not write the biblical papyrus that were dug up after 1952, Gail. This is getting so bizarre, it's not even making incoherent sense. Oh my God.
create 50 Bibles. And these scholars believe that these 50...
What? hang on. I'm getting overloaded here. Shit. She's saying there's 50 versions of this one book that was discovered by Erasmus in 1512. There are 50 versions of Vaticanus. Some magician, and I'm gonna propose here that it was Gandalf. I'm gonna propose that Gandalf travelled from Middle Earth to the Vatican and duplicated. No, it wasn't Gandalf. Who's the best duplicator? Harry Potter. Yeah. Okay, no, it was Dumbledore. It was actually Dumbledore. This is proof, ladies and gentlemen, that Dumbledore travelled to the Vatican in 1512 and made 50 duplicates of Vaticanus, of which 49 are now lost. Either that or they never existed in the first place.
Bibles that were created by Constantine.
I love this. It's like a mind trying to understand what she's saying is like a puzzle.
Are the Vaticanus and the Sinaiticus manuscripts that we're seeing being used today. Now,
they are being used today. Correct.
This is what's very, very interesting in what you said about, why are they different? The Nestle's 26th edition.
I'm not going to pronounce it wrong. It's Nestle. It's Nestle, not chocolate. It's Nestle. Now, saying the proper word feels uncomfortable. The Nestle Allen's 26th edition is what I've got.
Very interesting in what you said about, why are they different? The Nestle's 26th edition.
Nestle Allen 26th edition, Gail. If you did research, you would know the name of the book you're attacking.
That is the Greek text underlying all.
Which is because of Westcott and Hort, and it was put together by Bruce Metzger, Karl Moss, Carl Martini, all the other dudes. Great, amazing stuff. Wow.
Of these new versions, okay? That if someone bought a Greek text at a Christian bookstore, it would probably be Nestle's 26th edition.
Nestle Allen's 26th edition, and I think it's about $100. That's what pisses me off. I'd love to own a copy of it. Get this sorted out once for forever. Printed edition. Well, let's say I wanted to download a digital copy. You have to buy Logos or Accordance or Olive Tree. So that's expensive. Or to purchase the book, let's just go standard. I've killed the internet. Is a standard. It was a £35, £38. So £38 New Zealand dollars. We're looking at $74. I'd love to own a copy of it, but it's $74, so I need to create some sort of YouTube videos that can raise $74 so I can buy it. Apart from that, it's not evil. The price is evil, but the book itself isn't. Thank you, Gail.
That Nestle's 26th edition is, in essence, the Vaticanus and Sinaiticus manuscript.
Correct. Oh my God, you just told a fact. Hang on, let me recover. They used Vaticanus, Alexandrinus, Sinaiticus, and the not Leningradinensis. I keep getting that wrong. Oh, the other thing I had trouble pronouncing. All the books that I have trouble pronouncing, they found that and used those in the Nestle Allen 26th edition. Analytical Lexicon to the Septuagint. Oh my God, there's so many cool books to buy. Why are they so expensive? What's this one? £64. Ah, ha, I got this for free when I did my uni degree. Ha, you suck. You can't rip me off. £64 is what? £64 New Zealand dollars. $124. So I've got a copy of it for nothing. I guess if you're in the field of study, then the price of the book is part of your workflow. That's why they ask for such expensive prices for these books. I guess they are worth that, but I'm an invalid trying to study what I can study with from my bedroom. So give me a discount, please. Hashtag, give me it.
Okay, it is not the Textus Receptus or...
No, of course it's not the Textus Receptus. There's only 6 manuscripts from the 12th to the 15th century, Gail, that Erasmus used to create his Greek New Testament in 1512. And then he apparently flew back to 382 AD and rewrote it again.
the Bible that underlies the King James Version. It's very, very
In a
different.
time machine.
Now, because of the discovery of the papyri, 92 papyri.
Papyri. Speak the correct, there's a word, nomenclature. If you're attacking a field of study, at least know the field of study nomenclature. I can't pronounce the word, nomenclature, that you are creating mythology about. The most funniest one is how they mispronounce the word Necronomicon. By the way, there's two things about the Necronomicon. Number one, all these so-called ex-Satanists, now Christian fraudsters, all mispronounce the word Necronomicon. But not only that, they all say that it is the Satanic Bible, that it's really a real book that exists, that was written in blood, and every witch on the planet reads it, like a Christian church with a Christian Bible. The satanic churches that are worldwide all have their satanic Necronomicon, and they all read it and obey it like it's the word of the devil. And by the way, if you think there's any coherent sense in this fucking mess at all, they don't distinguish between Satanists, vampires, witches, warlocks, Wiccans. To them, they're all the same thing. So have fun debunking that mess if you want to get into it.
Have been collated since the NIV came out, since the NASB came out.
Correct.
Okay? Because of that, Nestle's 26th
What's she
edition
saying?
has had to change in out since the NASB came out.
Hang on. What?
Because of the discovery of the papyri,
The papyri were discovered in 1952, Gail. The NIV was written in 1973, Gail. What are you saying? That the NIV translators travelled back to 1952? There's a lot of time travel going on in your conspiracy theories.
92 papyri have been collated.
I must ask her where her time machine is. If she's the one behind all these switches. You shouldn't muck around with the timeline, Gail. Doc Brown warned you about this. Now you've upset the space-time continuum.
Since the NIV came out, since the NASB came out, okay? Because of that, Nestle's 26th edition has had to change.
Oh, shit. What are they, on the 26th edition now, or what? 28th edition. Gail, sit down for a second. There's a thing called a spade. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. Thing called a spade. People are still discovering new manuscripts. So after a version of the NIV, NASB, the New King James, whatever has been released, published, they find new manuscripts and have to revise or update the Bible. There's no such thing as a stagnant Bible. The King James isn't stagnant, it's outdated, it's obsolete. Nobody can understand its language. The 1973 NIV is now called the NIV, the new NIV, the new international, whatever. It's got a new name. It's been redone. I bought the eSword module, NIV Plus. Things get updated, Gal. People get paid wages to do this. For example, the people that run this site and sell these books and compile the Greek manuscripts, they get paid wages. They don't write fictional books and dupe followers into believing they're true and make a living off selling books that have no facts in them, Gail. They're not like you. Thanks. I'll calm down now.
In 500 places, back to the King James Version. So in essence,
What the hell?
the ASB came.
You can't pause this. She makes up a whole new conspiracy theory every time you pause it.
Since the NIV came out, since the NASB came out, okay? Because of that, Nestle's 26th edition has had to change in 500 places back to the King James Version.
Wrong. I think she got this from a quote out of something. I don't know, I've forgotten. It's been 8 years since I last watched this.
So in essence, the people who were carrying around the King James for those 20 or 30 years were the only people that had those.
The King James comes from 6 manuscripts from the 12th to 15th century. How can the Dead Sea Scrolls... I can't. My brain is numb. I literally have overdone it. I literally have overdone this. The King James is outdated. It's irrelevant. But to her, it's closer to the new discoveries than the new discoveries are.
500
Please
readings
get me
that
out of
scholars,
this.
like Warren Wiersbe and people like that, now believe should be in the Bible. They're back in Nestle's 26th edition. But
Nestle, and no, they're not. And even if they were, they're up to the 28th edition now. They'll be back 500 again. Fuck.
the new versions, the Nestle's 21st and the Nestle's 23rd, are where we get the NIV and the NASB from.
That's a fact. She just told another fact. It just gets me when she does. 1973, I'd say that was Nestle Ireland's 21st edition. I'll give her that. 1 point.
Those did not include the collation of the Pamper. So
The papyrus was discovered in 1952. The NIV was published in 1973. So you're wrong. I like it when she lies. It's least paid for the brain.
we have gentlemen like the president of the University of Chicago, the past president, he's now passed away, Caldwell. He's collating P66, the oldest Pamper in the world, and he said P66 agrees with the King James.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Gail. You can stick. Close all these windows down. I gotta give up. This is really hurting my brain. You can actually have this alongside Codex Basilensis, which Erasmus used for John 1:1, and point out the differences in the spelling and the word order. You can do this on your computer in your house, Gail. Oh my God. No wonder that's how you get away with bull. The audience has no access to facts.
Version. As a matter of fact, when he's collating P66,
When he says agrees, what does that mean?
well, he would mean that in essence, that when the King James says, has the fuller reading, okay, those extra 64,000 words, that
Now,
P66
the word
would
fuller,
have that.
you're not talking about a person or a individual. You're
Right.
talking about, in the sense of the word, meaning
More words.
complete. Yes,
Right,
okay.
right.
More
Like
words.
the Lord Jesus
Exactly.
Christ.
So this papyrus, which right in front of me has a shortened word for theos and Christos, and now that I've said it, I can only find one on the whole papyri. That's Iesos, that's Jesus. She's saying that this doesn't say Iesos. She's saying that this says the Lord Jesus Christ. She's saying that this manuscript agrees with the Greek minuscules of 1512, even though it doesn't. Here's a fact staring her right in the face, and she's saying lies about it. Show this page to Gail Riplinger and get her to repeat her last sentence. This is so easy to debunk. A child could do it.
So
Father,
we understand. We're not talking
Thank
about
you.
a translation here.
Yeah, the fuller translation.
Right, because there's so many of them. People might have said, I need to go out and get the fuller translation.
There isn't one. The King James is an over-bloated translation with 64,000 extra words. I have no respect for you. You let her on your TV show.
That's excellent.